Wonderful. All right. So welcome everybody. Oh, let me let one more person in. Excellent. All right, let's get started. Good morning. My name is Miriam, and today we're going to talk about Google Ads and what are the things we need to look forward to in 2025 and how to figure out, every piece of it. And that piece could include performance, maximizers, conversions, and setting up funnels. Okay, so give me a second. Here we go. As I said, my name is Miriam, and today we're going to dive really deep into how are you going to unlock the full potential of this one feature that Google Ads has brought in called Performance Max campaigns. And what is it? How are we going to use it? And what should we do before the person is about to click on it? And then what we should do after they click on it. Google Ads has different programs. So we're going to talk about two programs. One is designed for small businesses, and the other one is designed for non-for-profits or enterprises. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips, and this presentation will be available on our website. So feel free to go in online and take a look at it and make sure if you don't understand something, message me and I'd be more than happy to go over it with you. All right. So what is Google Ads and why AI is leading it? So in 2025, so in 2024, Google came up with a system called Performance Max, and this is their AI system. Give me 1 second. Somebody put something in. What is the address of the site? It's digitalmarketingexperts.ca. I'm going to put it in a chat for you guys. digitalmarketingexperts.ca. And you'll notice that we have a lot of other presentations that I've done in the past in there as well. So feel free to download any of the PDFs that you like or listen to any of the previous webinars as well. So if you go under resources, there's a section for the blogs and then the webinars, and everything's in the webinars. All right, let's get back to this. So back in 2004, a lot of people, back in 2004, Google Ads came up with a concept of their own AI tools that they call Performance Max. And this is where they take your ad and they serve your ad across search, YouTube, display, discover, Gmail, and map. Okay, so you must kind of like shift your mindset because you're no longer looking at, okay, what keywords I'm going to put in there. You're now looking at keywords and managing signals. You're managing placements and you're optimizing around the concept of conversion, not necessarily clicks. It's important to get clicks, but the most important part of that is that if they're clicking, are they converting into a user? And how are we going to take the data we're collecting off of our website, off of our forms, off of the CRM system that we have, and use that data to create proper ads that would help our business grow? Okay, so excuse me. Performance Max, I'm just going to let a couple other people in. Here we go. Let me add one more person in. Okay, so Performance Max, it's a goal-based campaign, which means we set goals and we're telling it, what's my goal? My goal could be that I want more conversion in a form of a call, or I want more conversion in a form of people knowing about who I am, or I want more conversion in a sense that I want people to buy things off of my e-commerce. Okay, now it's goal-based, so which means you have to provide creative assets, and this creative asset could be a video, it could be images, and it has to be able to change sizes. So you have to find assets that is at its
I'd like to introduce you to as well as Robbie.
Oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Great.
Sorry, I have to mute someone. Faye, could you please mute? Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right. So let me just close this. Here we go. Now, the conversion could also be that Google has a tool called Google Merchant, and there is a feed inside of that. And that feed is all of your products that are inside of that platform. And that's used to connect to your website. So let's say right now, if you're looking for Adidas shoes and you go and Google Adidas shoes, you'll see the products on top of the page with the price that you can purchase. That's called the Google Merchant Center. So the Max is very ideal for the PMAX or performance maximizer campaigns are really ideal for that, because what it's doing is it feeds the opportunity for you to sell that product. So you're getting people that are ready to buy to come in and see this and buy. So e-commerce brands with Merchant Center, and if you have a product, it's very important to put yourself on the Merchant Center. You can take advantage of reselling and selling your product off of this, using the ad to bring people to see your products, and then they can purchase it. The Google Performance Maximizer also has a system available for people that have a non-for-profit and they want to use the Google Ad Grant. Now, a Google Ad Grant is designed for non-for-profit companies, and it can give you up to $10,000 per month in advertising dollars. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, you have to feed the AI. And it doesn't matter whether you're using an AI tool like ChatGPT, or if you're using Canva, or if you're using, Zapier, or any other tool that has an AI, you have to feed it. You have to teach it what you want it to do. Okay. So the reason we're doing this is because AI is designed to understand your business, but it doesn't necessarily know enough about you. So you have to tell it what you need it to do for you. So in the past, Google was able to pick cookies off of people's websites and for people's searches and how they moved around online. And then it would take that information and take it to the third-party companies, or take it to Google Ads and be like, let's target this person. Well, they can't do that anymore. There's this thing called cookie depreciation, and there's a lot of privacy laws that have been put in place. So it's so important that you get to know who your audience are and feed that information back into Google if you're running ads. So how are we going to do this? If you have a CRM email list, so let's say you have 1,000 people that you email because they're all your customers. Once in a while, you send them an email and see how things are going. You can upload that list into your Google Ads and build a custom segment. And you can say, okay, I want everybody that you're going after AI, go after everybody that either A, have bought something from me in the past from this list, or build a lookalike. So I want everybody who has similar movements online to my existing customer list. Okay. Or you can set parameters, and these parameters could be that I want people that are married, have children, they are between the ages of 25 to 55, and I want them to be interested in golfing, florists, and online marketing. Just attract these guys. The third thing you can do is you can actually look at your existing Google Analytics. So everybody who has a website should have Google Analytics set up. It has to be a must. Even if you have a Shopify website, or if you have a Wix or a Squarespace where they give you data and they give you data about your traffic, you should still set up your Google Analytics. A, it's for free. B, the information that is collecting is far more valuable than what Shopify or Squarespace or Wix is giving you. Okay, so you should set up your Google, it's called GA4 or Google Analytics 4, and collect your own data. When you collect your own data, you can then use that data, whether it's for video views, for scrolls, for events, time that they spend on the website. Did they leave? Did they go through every other page before they left, or they just left? that information, you can use that information and push it into your Google Ads. So make sure you're collecting ton of data. Now, I'm going to give you a tip for somebody who's, really good at this data collecting. Everything you see online moving forward is going to be pushed and targeted towards setting up a flow. Okay, so what does that mean? Setting up a flow is when you set up where am I going to collect the data, where I'm going to look at the data, I'm going to understand how that data works, I'm going to model it into exactly what I want it to do, and then I'm going to take that data and say, based on this data, here are the attributes I want to target for my client, for my future client, or my target audience moving forward. And then I want to incrementally measure them. I want to measure, okay, well, I picked 5 attributes. One was that I want them to be women. Then I wanted them to be between ages 35 to 45. Then I wanted them to have a purchase pattern in the past of buying clothing. Then so these are attributes. So you take those attributes and then you say, I want to collect information based on that. And then you take those attributes and you say, based on these, I want to now measure how many of things that I wanted, I ended up getting. So if people that came in had 2 of those increments set, I'm in the right path. And then what you want to do is you want to bid on these individuals smartly. You want to, there's this thing called the smart bidding. This is where you allow Google to pick the bids based on which one of these attributes are doing better. Which one of these attributes is more likely to match what your business is, wants to do. And then once you figure out, okay, I have this perfect persona. She is a woman. She's between 25 to 45. She has 2 kids and she buys clothes. This is her. I built the persona. I know who it is. She shopped from me in the past. Let's keep targeting to her and people that are similar to her and start making some revenue. So this is called the flow. Okay. Now, this flow, you're going to hear about this flow because you're going to have to build landing pages that allows this persona that you created to go through that landing page and shop from you. What does that mean? That means if you have a page to do with a top that you want to sell or a skirt that you want to sell to this particular persona that you created, and she has shopped from you, you have to make sure this landing page has everything she's looking for. It has the skirt, it has the top, it has a matching shirt, it has matching earrings, it has matching shoes. So she can buy what she already is here to buy and you can upsell more and more to her. Okay. So you want to set up these conversion trackings so people can shop from you easier and continuously to come back. This is called a signal. Okay, so we're going to talk about a signal a little bit more as we go. Okay. You'll notice that this photo has spelling mistakes. And there's a reason why I did it. I could have corrected it, but I didn't because I allowed AI to create Canva AI to create this image for me. Okay, so I feed it the information that I want to talk about right now. And I said, create this photo for me. Okay, so you'll see that there's spelling mistakes on this because AI, when it creates the actual wording that goes on the image, it does it based on what the system is programmed to do, not based on what I written for them to write in there. Unless if I say use quote unquote this particular sentence, it creates what it wants. What it's doing is that I had given it the topic that I want to talk about, and then it segmented it for me and say, okay, well, Miriam's going to talk about before the click, and then Miriam's going to talk about after the click. So I'm going to segment that. Okay. So when you create assets, I'm going to answer your question in a second, Tanya. I just want to finish this. When you create assets that are through AI, it is absolutely imperative to look at the spelling mistakes that it creates and see if this is actually it fits your business persona or your business model as well. Okay, so you want to make sure to look at this. This is done on purpose. I am a very particular person with what I push out there, but I wanted you to see that there are spelling mistakes in this AI created content, because if I would have advertised this, my business would be murdered, right? It would kill my business, but I wanted you to see this. Okay, so we're going to talk about this one slide. So this slide is what does a funnel look like? So I told you about the conversion flow that you created. Now a funnel is what you want them to do before and after. So before they come to you on your ads, so you have to create an ad, right? So you have to create an ad for them to come to you. All right, so what do we want to give them to allow them to understand what it is that I'm trying to sell? I see your messages, Tanya. I will answer all of them as soon as I'm done the presentation. I would love to have a conversation about this. Okay, what do you want them to do before they see your ad and come? I want them to see a clear message about my business. I want them to stop scrolling because it's like, that's what we do, right? So we see something that we like and we scroll. We go up and down. I want that to stop. I don't want them to see anything else or scroll. I want them to make a decision. So I want to have a clear brand message. I want a creative that is scroll stopping, whether it's on YouTube, display, or discover. And I want a very strong audience targeting based on their behavior, based on their intent to purchase, and based on the data that I've provided. So that's before they click to come to the landing page. Now, after they click to come to the landing page, what do I want them to do? Well, I want a really good landing page that loads really fast. It looks fantastic on mobile and it matches the ad. Because if your pictures on your ad is of dog, little puppies and flowers, and then I come to your website and you're talking about something to do with IT, you lost me. Because now I am under the impression that I'm on the wrong page. I also want to set up a funnel structure. I want you to repeat this in your head. What's a funnel structure? A funnel structure is how I want to collect and send this person through my website. I want to set up maybe a quiz. I want them to look at that quiz or offer them something that they like. So once they finish the quiz, I want to offer them something. I'll give them like a $30 discount or a $30 gift card. But in order for them to get it, they have to fill up a contact form. That's called a funnel. Okay. And then once I get their contact information and I put it into my system, I can keep retargeting to them, whether I'm doing it through display, YouTube, or Gmail. All right. Let's talk about tools. Again, I kept you see the spelling mistakes. I wanted you to see this because this is another AI created content. Now, we're talking about AI not because AI is a fantastic tool to use. It's fantastic. Every AI tool I've used, it time saves and it's convenient. But you have to see both sides of it. This is the bad side of it. So there's certain AI tools that we all use to supercharge our campaigns. So number one, you need something that's creative, that's going to create you stuff. So Canva Magic Studio, it auto resizes creatives, it creates an animated asset and optimized thumbnail. But then at the same time, it gives you spelling mistakes and it looks like you don't know what you're doing, right? So you want to make sure to think of that before you get AI to create it for you. Another thing you can do is you can get AI to create this for you, and then you can resize this and recreate this on your own. ChatGPT generates the ad copy. Again, it generates the ad copy based on the information that it's been collecting from everywhere and the little knowledge that it has of your business. But if you feed it data about who your business is, what your brand recognition is, what your brand colors are, then ChatGPT will create that ad copy to match your business needs and business wants. Tell ChatGPT what services you offer. Tell it what you want your creative language to be like. Midjourney creates branded visuals that kind of stand out. They do a really good job, but again, you have to feed it. Now, we're going to talk about automation and tracking. I'm the biggest not necessarily the fan, but I'm a huge follower in I live my life with analytics. I make sure I look at my analytics every week to see what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. Zapier and make.com, they connect your lead forms that I was telling you to create last slide to your CRM. Okay. and they're both fantastic tool, and they're easy to connect. All you just have to do is go through the system and follow the steps, and it's very easy to do. Anything Google is for free, so take advantage of it. It's free, 100% free. Google Tag Manager, it's free. Google Analytics 4, it's free. Google Looker Studio, free. Search Console, free. Optimize, free. Sign up with your business account, not your personal account, with the business account you use for your Google My Business, and set it up. Google Tag Manager and GA4 or Google Analytics 4, they ensure that you are tracking things properly, okay? And then when you want to look at that information, you can use Google Looker Studio to add them all together and piece it together, so you can look at it from the visual perspective and make it make sense to you. Okay, let's talk about a case study. E-commerce do very well with Performance Max funnels. They do really, really well. One direct-to-consumer wellness brand that we worked with, they had a really high ad spend, and their return on investment was quite low, and their ads were tired and fatigued. They were not performing. So what we did was we moved them over to Performance Max campaigns, and we freshen up their creative assets. We also used first-party data that we've been collecting, and we built a lookalike. I'm going to explain that again so you remember what that is. A lookalike is, let's say I have a list of all of you guys that have attended my webinar. I'm going to put that list into Google Ads, and I'm going to tell Google Ads, I have Tanya as part of my lookalike list. Take Tanya's information and build that perfect customer that searches the web just like Tanya and bring her to me. So not necessarily use Tanya, but build a lookalike of these individuals that have provided their information. So that would be just not their email address, but their phone number and their address. You're gathering all of that and you're putting into your system, and you're saying, hey, build something in that provides a lookalike to this. We also build a quiz for this client. We build a quiz funnel, and we tried to collect information. So what happened? We increased our ROI by 42%. We had 3 times more email signups, and we had a 60% drop in our costs per sale because we switched them over to YouTube, and we gave them YouTube videos. So YouTube videos are a cent per view versus other platforms. All right, I'm going to give you another example. So this is a non-for-profit that got a Google ad grant. So Google ad grants are roughly around up to $10,000 a month. So we've had clients that got $3,000, we have clients that got $10,000. So they are a local environmental non-for-profit, and they were getting such a low engagement on their search-only campaigns because the budget was set on search-only campaigns. So what we did was we introduced the PMAX campaigns, and we kind of used their mission-based audience target. So we added a landing page that kind of focused on volunteer signups and donation action. And we used their GA4 and Looker Studio to kind of monitor and pivot the campaign based on how well they're performing. The result was that we got an 80% growth in their monthly Google grant budget spent, which means out of $10,000 that they had to spend, they ended up spending 80% of that. And that means they got a 55% increase in their volunteer form submission, and they got double the donation growth in 90 days. Let's talk about some common mistakes. So audience signal is what allows you to add audience suggestions and help Google AI optimize for people that you want to go after based on your goal. Okay. Now, not uploading audience signals, which means there's a platform in there that says, who's your perfect audience? And it's Google suggestions. You don't have to upload a list of existing clients. It's just what Google's giving you. It says, pick what you want. Do you want people that are interested in, aerospace? Are you interested in mechanics? Are you interested? Tell me what you want. Not filling that piece will make it's detrimental to the growth of your campaign. It won't work. Using generic landing pages, so sending everybody to the homepage of the website, it won't work because your homepage is already getting traffic from everywhere else. And your homepage is not specific to the product and service that you're trying to sell. If you, let's say you're selling a course, okay? You're sending me to the homepage to look for that course. I'm not going to look for your course. You have to do everything possible for me as a user to give me the information that I'm looking for right on smack on the time that I need it. Okay. So set up a proper landing page with all the right information and make sure not to neglect tracking setups. Make sure that you have the right tracking for that page so we can measure the success of that page. Because if the PMAX campaign brought in 10,000 people and you had 2 conversion, and that's because you remember, oh yeah, this guy called and said, yeah, I saw your ad online and then I came and the other guy told his cousin and then his cousin came. That's not tracking. You want to set the right tracking tools so you can see what's happening with these ads and how well they're performing. Don't ignore the asset group structure. So what's an asset group structure? Asset group structure is the building blocks of creating and replacing traditional ads with a bunch of assets. So in the traditional world, we would write the copy of the ad and then we will give it a logo and we're good to go. Maybe a phone number and then a link to the website, right? No, it's not going to work like that anymore. What you're going to do is you're going to give it up to 15 headlines. You're going to give it 4 descriptions. You're going to give it images, videos, any related theme and audiences. Then you're going to give it a phone number. Why do you give it so much information? Well, because the way Miriam looks for things are different from the way Bob looks for things, and it's different from the way Tanya looks for things. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that Google has all the information to target Miriam based on her shopping wants and needs, and target Tanya and Bob separately. So when you give it that much information, what it does is it picks and chooses how Miriam has shopped. So it picks the top headlines that works for Miriam with the proper description and the proper images. Okay, so you want to give it all of that information and don't skim out. So important not to skim. You want to scale smarter with funnels. You're going to keep hearing this. Funnels are, what is my ad going to do? What's my conversion? And how am I going to measure this continuously and rinse and repeat at the end? So the big idea is that ads are the beginning of the process, not the end. So ads are the first thing we want to do. So we want to map each asset group that we have to the funnel stage we want them to show at. So let's say, as an example, that I want to sell you guys my marketing services. My ad cannot just say marketing services. My ad has to break down the different types of marketing services because not everybody needs all the marketing services. Some of you might need Google Ads. Some of you might need a website. Some of you might need Google Grant for a non-for-profit. You might need sustainability marketing. You might need social media marketing. You might need just content. So I have to take all of the services that I have and build separate ads for each one of them and have separate assets for each one of them, have a separate video for Google Ads than I do for web development, and then have an idea of what does a conversion look like to me. Does the conversion to me means they're going to pick up the phone and call me, or are they going to fill up a form to talk to me, or are they going to go on my Calendly and book a time on my calendar right away so we can have a chat? So we want to use value-based conversion strategies to say, okay, so this value that I'm looking for is them coming in and picking up the phone and calling me. So I have to have a phone number for that asset. So I got to have a phone number for all of my Google Ads asset. But I want to have a Calendly link to my calendar for all of my web development work that I want to do. And you also want to build a plan where you're going to continuously retarget them. So if I'm going to do a video to do with, video marketing that we provide, I want to be able to let them watch it and rewatch it and rewatch it and send it to others. Okay, so you also want to make sure that your performance max leads into your landing page where there is an email platform where they can fill in a form and it gets emailed to you. So then you can now, again, link them together and combine it with your ad. So when they connect with you, they go back into your Google ad campaign where you can target people that are lookalike to this individual. And you want to make sure that you nurture these leads. If you have any questions, make a list of them. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Okay, let's talk about optimization checklist. So when you set up a campaign, you always want to make sure that you enhance your conversion setups. And there's a feature. So the good thing about Google Ads is when you go through Google Ads, it has every piece available for you to see. It has a section called recommendations where you can go in there and it tells you what to do and how to do it. So enhancing your conversion setup would be part of that recommendation list, and you should totally do that. You want to make sure your first party audience is always uploaded. So you want to make sure you have a good CRM system set up where you can see who your target audience is. Set your Google Analytic 4 goals and link them to your Google Ads. Okay. It's very simple. If you don't understand how to do it, you can message me and I'd be more than happy to go over it with you. You want to make sure your landing page loads up under 3 seconds. Okay. Because it takes forever, I'm gone. As a user, I'm gone because I want everything yesterday, even though I'm looking for it today. So you want to make sure that the landing page loads fast. Separate your asset groups based on different type of customers you're going after. As I said, I cannot just sell you digital marketing services. I have to sell you web development services separate than my Google ad services because my Google ad people may not want web development. And you want to make sure your conversion value added to a thank you page. Does that mean that I'm going to explain that. So I want people to come and fill up a form. They're going to hit send. My value that I get for this customer, my conversion value that I get to this customer is not for him to click the button. It's where he lands on the thank you page. That's, or when they're shopping and they put it in the shopping cart, that's not a conversion value. The conversion value is when they fully check out and they get a receive order email or they get a thank you for placing your order. That is your last page. That's where we consider a complete conversion. All right, so what are you going to do next? So what you're going to do is you're going to audit your existing campaign. You're going to look at what's missing because you're going to go on to digitalmarketingexperts.ca resource section, download this PDF, and then I'm going to have all of my notes in here. Everything I'm talking about, it's written in the notes section. And then you're going to go and look at the video, watch the video again. Then you're going to go to your current campaign and you're going to identify what's missing. Then you're going to identify your top audience signals. Are they from your CRM? Are they from Google Analytics 4? Or is it an offline event? And did you write it on a piece of paper and put it in a booklet? You're going to identify where they are. Then you're going to put them in a document in an Excel file that is provided by Google Campaigns. And then you're going to put them online. Then you're going to redesign your funnel to match your buyer's behavior. Okay. And then you're going to launch a PMAX test campaign, a test campaign. You're going to have 2 different audiences with 2 different asset groups. You're going to call one A/B testing, the other one, A testing and then a B testing. And then you're going to run them to see which group of audience are going to bring you the most amount of traffic. And then you're going to use the Looker Studio to build a proper report so you can look at it. This is the fundamental of building any online campaign. Now, I'm recommending PMAX because the Performance Max is what the AI features are and it works well for everybody. Again, if you can see on the screen, lots of spelling mistakes done on purpose because I want you to see you got to make sure this AI piece is working well for you. No slides are being shared. You guys can't see my screen? Really? You can't see? I just changed the channel. Huh. Okay, Tanya, can you okay. That's weird. My apologies. Could have been I don't know why I did that. Okay, we're going to talk about the final takeaway. The final takeaway is that Performance Max isn't a handoff and a signal managed campaign that you're like, okay, I'm just going to build this page and then they're all going to come. Doesn't work like that. You have to build a proper landing page, have the proper group of ads, and you want to make sure that your automation is done properly, and you don't want to scale with more spending. You want to scale with more intelligent system, with more data. Okay. So I'm going to put this online, and you are more than welcome to go over it and let me know if you have any questions. So now if you guys want to unmute yourself, and I wonder if I can change this, feel free to do so, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. And then I'm going to read Tanya's information and answer her. Okay, so Tanya, you said, I have an education business and my personas can vary across my programs. I have a high level of personas that I use, but I'm concerned that it's too wide. Very good concern to catch my target buyer over my various education programs. I am unclear if my Google ads are helping. Okay, excellent question. So if you do cast a really white net, because you're like, well, I'm going to be a little bit more generic because all my customers fit into this giant, big, huge box, you have to spend an enormous amount of money to catch everybody in that big bag, big, huge box. Okay. So I'll give you an example. We recently worked on a project and they wanted the entire United States on a $750 budget. Okay. Budget per month, $750 a month. They want the entire United States based on certain keywords. Doesn't work like that anymore. So what we ended up doing is we picked where their top buyers are. So their top buyers were in California. Then we picked, okay, what cities are these top buyers from? Well, the top buyers were mostly from San Francisco, Sacramento, and another city. So we build the ads for that particular area only. So you don't have to necessarily go after people based on what they're about to buy from you in the future. Look back as to what they bought from you already and where did they come from. So go based on geolocation. If that doesn't work for you, because you just got to remember, you're competing in a massive ocean of competitors. So we're not big fish, we're small fish. So as small fish, we have to be very specific with what do I want. So if I get 4 customers this month, then I'm winning because I can take those 4 customers, look at what their buying patterns were, their behavior was, and use that information to make that into 8 customers, if that makes sense. And I hope that answered your question. This is what I was worried about with AI ads via Google. I would love to use them, but I have seen errors too when it creates them. Yeah, they do. And I wanted to show that because this is not the first time that we've created videos and we've created slides and there's errors. So basically you have to go back and redo it anyways. So you have to think it through. Is this making sense? Do I do this? Do I go through my system all over and I've already built this beautiful design and then I have to find an editing tool to fix the whole thing again? I hope that answered your question. Any other questions you might have? I'm fighting the algorithms to get higher on the page in the search. Organically or through ads? 'Cause
I'm not using display ads. I'm using search. Yeah, not using display. And I'm trying to convert it to an organic search.
Okay. So display ads, hold on, let me just move you over to you. There we go. So the problem that I always see with display ads is that display ads only show in areas where that platform has allowed display ads. So you should focus on search ads to begin with. And with search ads, if you become a little more niche and nitty gritty into who you want to target and build on that, you'll see that you do come up. And be very specific with location base as well. That location piece is very important. So I know because it's an online platform, anybody and everybody can use it, but there's certain locations that your money gets wasted. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
So does that mean I should focus in maybe on one of my main programs of education? Is that what you mean?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I do is I have 5 ads running for every one of the services I provide. I have the exact same amount running for every service I provide. And then I look back and say, okay, what did you do for me as an ad? Did you perform what I needed for you as an ad? And then I look at what I sold that month. So if I advertise all of them, but I sold Google ads more than I did web development, then I'll increase my web development and lower the rest because that's what's selling, right? You want your low-hanging fruits that are performing best for you. And I'm very specific with location as to who it is that I'm targeting, because when it comes to anything that, even if I have to do it online, I always look for something that's local to me, because if there's a problem, I need to be able to connect with them easier. Do you see what I mean? So if you can look for things that are more local to you, is more likely you're going to get a result out of it.
Okay, thank you.
More than welcome. All right, so I'm going to post this online. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Nice chatting with you all. Have yourself a fantastic day, everyone. Bye.